comma splices and run-ons on GMAT. A good news to begin with, you don't have to understand both the concepts. If you understand comma splice, you would automatically understand run-on. Promise. Let's begin. Can you see a problem with this sentence? If not, don't worry, just wait for a minute. What is comma splice? The error of comma splice occurs when two independent clauses are joined using a comma. Comma is considered too weak a punctuation to join two independent clauses. Some examples: the same sentence, professor entered the class, the students were waiting. You see, these are two independent thoughts that can quite stand alone. Professor entered the class is a sentence in itself, it's an independent clause. The students were waiting is also an independent clause. The two cannot be joined through a comma, so this sentence suffers with the error of comma splice. One more example: Jack has great soccer skills. This part of the sentence is an independent clause, and that he is a great team man is also an independent clause. The two cannot be joined through a comma, so the error of comma splice here. One more: Henry is conscious about his fitness. Independent clause, he swims every day. Another independent clause joined by a comma, so we have the error of comma splice here. An informal note on comma splice: GMAT apart, it's a very common error in our everyday writing, and this is so because we often write by what we are hearing. We write by the ear, and therefore wherever we feel the need for a pause, we put a comma. Practically, technically, grammatically, it doesn't work like that. Grammar is a lot more sophisticated. So let's talk about how to correct the error of comma splice. There are three main ways. First, very effective way is to replace the comma with a semicolon or a period when the split in the meaning is very strongly defined. For example, professor entered the class, the students were waiting. We can simply replace the comma with a semicolon and the sentence would be alright. Professor entered the class, the students were waiting. Semicolon is strong enough to join two independent clauses. Yes, even if we replace the semicolon with a period and have two independent sentences, even that would be grammatically alright. However, if you look at the meaning, there is an interdependence in the meaning, and therefore as the split in the meaning is not strongly defined, usage of semicolon is better. And remember, on the GMAT you always get one sentence in the sentence correction question, and therefore you won't see an example where you get a period within a sentence. So once again, concisely put, this error can be corrected by replacing the comma with a semicolon or a period. The second way of correcting this error is by adding a coordinating conjunction after the comma. The most popular example is and followed by or, but, and then there are some more examples: so, for, yet, nor, and so on. Let's take an example. Jack has great soccer skills. He is a great team man. Yes, putting semicolon would have been one way. The second way we are discussing is putting a conjunction after the comma. Now, comma together with a conjunction becomes strong enough to join two independent clauses. As per the meaning, other conjunctions such as or, but, and so on could have been used. The third way of correcting this error is adding a subordinate conjunction such as because, when, since, and so on. What this does is that it turns one of the two independent clauses into a dependent clause. For example, this is an incorrect sentence. However, if we add a subordinating conjunction because, now you see this part of the sentence is no longer an independent clause. Because Henry is conscious about his fitness is not independent. This becomes a dependent clause, and comma is strong enough to join one dependent clause with an independent clause. So this sentence is also perfectly alright. One more example: see, Henry swims every day when he is conscious about his fitness. Now, because of this subordinating conjunction when, the second clause has become a dependent clause and the sentence is alright. And in fact, in this case, when the dependent clause comes next, comma is not needed at all. In this case, when the dependent clause came first and the independent clause came next, the comma was needed. Not in this case. Yes, this last sentence changes the meaning a bit, but grammatically speaking, this sentence is alright. So that was comma splice and how you can correct it. What is run-on? As per my promise, this would not take you any time to understand. The run-on error occurs when two independent clauses are joined without punctuation or conjunction. You saw these were the examples examples of comma splices, we had commas joining two independent clauses. The error of run-on is far more basic. In these cases, you don't even have a comma. So in comma splice, you show some error by at least having some punctuation for joining two independent clauses. In run-ons, you don't show even that much respect. So run-ons are more severe form of similar error. In comma splice, you have an insufficient punctuation. In run-ons, you have no punctuation. If you understand comma splices, you of course understand run-ons. If you can correct comma splices, you can of course correct run-ons. The same three ways that correct comma splices correct run-ons. This was the concept, guys. GMAT shorts are deliberately kept brief. For an elaborate explanation, please refer the stage 1 videos. Thanks for watching.